Welcome back to Gerodynamics. Okay, so I want to do a video talking about Social Security. This is another issue that I find that I have a lot of interest in, a lot of passion about. It is another video where I will be talking about partisanship. Partisanship is the only reason we haven't solved this, because we should all agree on it. But if they solve it, then they can't attack each other for it. As you saw Biden do during the State of the Union, attacking Republicans for wanting to kill Social Security. Some of them do, kind of, but some of them agree on a lot of things that they both know these things need to be solved. Um, and they would just rather use it to beat each other over the head like an election mallet. It's something that they can use to try to get themselves elected. So they're not solving it, and eventually it's going to die. If they don't solve these issues, Social Security will become insolvent. We will not have enough money to pay out Social Security checks, and well, we will, but it will have to come from something other than the Social Security fund, which is what will end up happening. Anyways, that's a big part of the problem with Social Security as it is right now. So let's talk about it. Okay, so what is Social Security? Social Security was initially passed so that, and it had a lot to do with the war, but it had other reasons, that they passed it. So basically, husband and wife are married. This is back when gender roles were fine. Husband went off to work, wife stayed at home with the kids. Husband worked himself until he passed away, and then the wife, didn't have an income coming in at that point. Wait, hold on real quick. I think everything should, let me turn this off here. There, I think that'll stop any of that staticky look that was happening down there for a minute. Okay, so so the husband passed away, and then the wife no longer had income coming in. So if the husband passed away too early, then she had to struggle to raise the kids without any income, that sort of thing. Or what also led to it was the war. I think it was probably World War II, I would imagine. I could be getting my timelines a little wrong. It might have been, World War One, that led directly into it. But anyways, probably World War II. So the U.S. sends off, their young men. They go to war. They die, and the wives are left with nothing. I mean, they probably had some sort of military pension thing that they were doing. Something. I'm not 100% sure about that. But basically, the Social Security was created with widows in mind, regardless of how they passed away. And that's an honorable thing. That's something that I can see why the U.S. wanted to do that. And so what they did was they said, we need this fund so that we can support widows. It turned into a retirement type program. So now you have, I don't know what the percentages are, I could look it up, but a large percentage of people treat the Social Security as their retirement. Maybe they don't do enough of their own retirement savings and they're just like, okay, I'm going to live on Social Security, or they never made enough to really kind of dig their way out, so that they could save for retirement. And so Social Security is the only thing that they're going to have coming in when they have to retire or can no longer work. And so, they're dependent on Social Security to support themselves. They don't have any other sort of retirement. And that's what it's kind of become. It wasn't really what it was intended to be, but we can work with it still. We can work with that. The problem is the Social Security fund should have been treated like a retirement from the beginning. And I think initially it was. I think they actually ended up passing a law that changed the way that it was originally intended. But you pay into Social Security while you're working. You pay Social Security taxes. That money should have never been touched. It should have been paid into this fund. It should have been invested. You know, yes, the market can go through cycles and sometimes it goes down, but over the course of the life of an individual, the stocks will rise. You can invest it in a very low risk type mutual funds, that sort of thing. Um, it's not 100%, but it is, more than likely going to end up with increased. Um, the fund will increase over time, and we could have some safeguards put in place that says that in case there is some sort of issue, then it's a government backed thing. The government would then come in like an insurance and would secure the fund, you know. But for the most part, more than likely, if they had been investing this money the whole time, there'd be more than enough money in the fund to cover everybody in Social Security. But that's not what they did. What they did was they dumped it all into the general fund. They steal it every year to try to balance out their budget. That's exactly how Bill Clinton's budget and surplus happened, was because it wouldn't have been a budget surplus if they didn't have the Social Security fund as part of that budget. So yeah, so still better than a deficit. Don't get me wrong. And then of course, you had Republicans in Congress at the time. So for all you partisan people out there, yes, the Republicans had a part to play in that surplus. The surplus that wasn't really a surplus, but better than most years. So give Bill Clinton and the Republicans in Congress credit for creating that pseudo surplus, because it's better than what we got going on right now. Anyways, that's a side note. So that money should never go into the general fund, right? So what you do, what they've done is they've just been taking it all these years, and so now the money that's being paid out to current retirees is the money coming in from people who are currently working. Well, we're having more and more people retire, and less people working. And so it's not working. There's not enough money coming in to cover the requirements. And so some people are saying raise the age, and some people are saying phase it out and that sort of thing, right? Here's the thing: you don't need to do any of that. Raising the age isn't terrible, but you wouldn't do it for anybody that's currently on Social Security. It would be, hey, you're 18 years old, you're coming into the workforce, your Social Security age is going to be, a little higher. They could do that. I don't think they need to, but they could. But it shouldn't, and I don't know anybody saying that it should happen to anybody who's currently so you're counting on Social Security in 2 years. You're going to be retiring. You're counting on Social Security in 2 years, and all of a sudden they go in and they pass a law and they say, nope, got to work 5 more years. No one is saying that. I think. I mean, you maybe if you know of somebody calling for that, feel free to link it in the comments along with proof. I would also condemn that, but I don't believe anybody is saying that. Anyways. So I don't think, though, that you need to increase the age. You just need to make sure that the government doesn't steal the money from the Social Security fund. So that will fix the problem down the line. But currently we have a current problem. And yes, it is going to cost us money. The government borrowed the money. The government needs to pay it back. Now, mind you, when government pays for something, it's not the government, it's taxpayers. But we have other debts. We're paying debts to other countries. This is a debt that we owe to United States citizens. And it needs to be treated as such. It needs to be paid back by the government to the Social Security Fund, get the Social Security Fund stable, and then from then on, you don't touch it. You invest it in low risk investments. You have a an insurance type of security that would say that if for some reason, even if that, say that low risk investment collapses or something happens, that the government does secure it. But that's not something they have to do every year. That would only happen if like something happened. Um, and so you have this fund that is fully funded now because the government paid it back. Don't touch it anymore, and you let Social Security continue on, right? Simple type of solutions. If you do that, then you can also satisfy some of the other side of things, which is saying Social Security should be a voluntary system. Social Security should not be the mandatory retirement system for every United States citizen, right? So say I have a great retirement. I have I have multiple different, I'm, what's the word? Diversification. I diversified. I have multiple different streams that I'm going to be able to pull from in my retirement. Not as good as some people. Some people have great diversification and they have multiple streams and they have so much money coming in, that they're going to be fine in retirement. So I'm not like wealthy, but I'm going to be fine. I don't necessarily need Social Security, right? So I could pull out of Social Security, and you give me the option to pull that money out. I don't have to pay that amount in Social Security taxes, and I can take that money and I can invest it as I see fit. There's two ways you could do that. You could just make it a cut and dry, that's, you have made the choice. Whatever you do with your money from here on out, that's up to you. But if you get to retirement age and you don't have anything to show for it, tough luck. You made a bad choice. You're going to the Poverello house. You're going to, be, hopefully you're not homeless, that sort of thing. So that's where people are like, no, you can't let people make that choice. They're going to end up homeless and they're going to end up like old and broke. Well, you give people enough rope to hang themselves. If that's what they do, then that's what they do. That's how I see it. But even if say you're like, nope, we can't take that chance. There'll be too much of a drag on society. There'll be too much. They'll pull systems down. They'll pull everybody down. Okay, well, at least give me the option to take the money and invest it as I see fit. You may not be able to be all like, you know what, I'm out of Social Security. I'm just going to take this money. I'm going to spend it on some Taco Bell. You may not be able to do that. You may be able to say, hey, I'm going to take this money, and the money that would have been invested in the Social Security fund for me is now going to be invested in my own personal mutual fund. I have to invest it in a mutual fund, or I have to invest it in something, but I get to choose what it's invested in. Those would be the two things that I think should be offered to people, should be allowed. I think that far more people would be far better off in retirement if they were allowed to invest it themselves rather than just deal with whatever Social Security has decided to do with it, and however Social Security pays it out. However, people who are like, you know what, it's too easy, I'm just going to go ahead and just let Social Security handle it, they can stay in Social Security. Social Security doesn't go anywhere. They can stay in it. It's simple, easy. They'll get Social Security when they retire. There's that, so it's still an option. The reason why people don't want that to be an option is because they say that, well, but then you don't have the money coming into the Social Security fund because all these people pulled their money out, and so Social Security is going to go insolvent. Not if we did what I said first, which is pay Social Security back. That money is your money. It's not, I shouldn't be getting Social Security from, kids that are born now, right? So like, I'm like 40 something years old. Some kids born now. I retire when I'm 80, right? That's too old, I think. 70, what is it? 70. We'll just say 70. I retire when I'm 70. And so some kid is turning 21 years old, when I retire. And so that kid's paycheck into Social Security is how I get my Social Security check. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. I've been paying into Social Security my entire life. I should be getting that money back. That money should have been invested so that it could cover me when I retire. And if it did, then little Tommy, his paycheck is not going to be paying my Social Security. My money that I've been investing my whole life is what's going to pay my Social Security. Just sorry, someone came home, but yeah, okay. So I want to finish up this rant. So basically, little Tommy is not paying my Social Security. It should be coming out of the fund that I funded, right? So if I didn't fund it because I pulled out and I'm not taking anything from Social Security when I retire, that doesn't hurt anything, okay? So you have to fix the Social Security fund, and then you can update Social Security, right? You can do, it's kind of phasing it out, but it's not phasing it out 100% because you leave it as an option for people, you know. So while it's phasing it out for me because it becomes a voluntary system that I choose to be a part of, it will still be there for whoever wants to still be involved in it. All right. And really, if we could all just come together on this, we can fix this. It's going to cost some money up front. So that's the thing, you know. We do have to realize it is a debt that the United States government has, and it needs to pay it back. And then we can move forward with the Social Security being a voluntary system that everybody should be happy about. If you have any complaints about that, please leave them in the comments. I wanna know like what it is that's holding it up, other than being a partisan tool that people want to bicker about. Tell me what the fault in the logic is. Tell me where the issues are that you see from fixing Social Security and making it more of a voluntary program. You let me know. I'd be happy to hear. Anyways, I think that about covers it. If you have any other questions or any other comments, feel free, let me know, and I'll be talking to you later. Take care, everybody. Have a good day.